morning. I got Molly on my lap, Susie in front of the couch, and Otto hugging Pepper, it looks like, in front of the stove.
All right, we're doing a little intro here. I got these headphones, so I quit wearing them pink ones on my daughters. I was gonna show what we was eating. I looked over and Cardi done devoured that donut. We went to McDonald's this morning and got some breakfast because we was kind of in a hurry. I got me another ratchet strap from Harbor Freight and got some stuff to eat. So I got keto friendly, which is low carb. I'm very strict with that now, but this is like a black coffee, iced coffee, black. Really good. McDonald's coffee to me is the best. They use some kind of Arabica, or I don't know how you pronounce it, but the beans are Arabica or something like that. They're really good. And then I just got this, see? You get eggs and cheese and sausage. That's what I got. I ain't gonna show too much because I'm driving, but eggs and cheese and sausage, and put it all together and make like a little sandwich. It's really good. And it's, low carb. But anyways, we're heading to the Stave Mill. We got $300 worth of wood to do today. I've got another guy that's wanting $340 worth. So we've got quite a bit. The temperatures are dropping again. This morning it was around 21 degrees, I think, when I got up. I got up at 5:30 or so. And now next week it's supposed to be down in the teens. So firewood's picking up again a little bit. It's not going to last that much longer, but we maybe have another 2-3 weeks of firewood, I'd say. And then that'll probably be it. But I'll plan to continue doing it, stocking it up in the spring and summer, when I have free time, that is. But anyways, we're heading to the Stave Mill now. I think you can hear me good. I did a little test video with these headphones. They got a microphone on them, and it seemed to work great, so I'm glad of that. There's a big pile of those slabs there that a lot of people like.
A lot of
right there. So that's not what I'm after. Look at this pile here, guys. Now that they've opened it up, right here is what I'm after. These big rounds right there. There's a bunch of good ones there too, it looks like. So I may get right in there for now. That's probably where I'm gonna go. Right in there. Beautiful morning. Beautiful day. So backing in right here, I like to give myself a little bit of space to split, but not be too far away to where I'm carrying the wood farther than necessary. They really cleaned this place up. It looks so much better. This looks like it needs to be cleaned off.
Oh, man.
All right, there we go. It is a little cold, but anyways, I'm gonna get out and show you some stuff real quick. So now, it's so much better. So it goes there, all the way over there, and they've cleared that out over there really good. It's so much better. Look at the staves now, how far away they are. Look at all the space in between them and this pile. That's how it should have been to begin with, in my opinion. I'm not sure why they ever put the staves there to begin with, but like I said, it's their place, so I'm not trying to tell them how to do it. I'm just saying it makes a lot more sense now. Hopefully it stays like this. But here's a lot of good rounds right here. Easy to get to, good size. Pull them down, split them, and load them. There's somebody was asking me about how I was splitting, and so the signs aren't here, so I'm splitting. Anyways, all right, so let's get to it. Look at that. That is a wood mine, isn't it? That's what I call it, the wood mine. Tell me that is not a wood mine. Beautiful day today, too. All you need is that and a pickup truck and a saw. If you don't have something like this, then a saw. And you don't even have to have a pickup truck. I did it with the trailer and a little SUV my first year, and it wasn't even four-wheel drive. So, all right, this was a beautiful day. The weather's really nice. It's not muddy like it was probably a week or so ago when I went, and I've been since then as well. But and as you can see, the pile is huge of wood back there. So now that they've moved those staves, you can really access this whole pile of wood, and it makes so much more sense now. But this was a $300 day as far as the amount of wood that I split. But later on, I'll let you kind of see what I mean by that, because I won't get ahead of myself here. But anyway, this stuff splits pretty good, white oak does. It actually splits really easily compared to a lot of the white oak I've done in the past. I think I did a lot of tops, and then I know there's different species of white oak as well. If I'm not mistaken, there's over 6 species of white oak. Maybe even quite a bit more than that. So, they're not all going to split the same. But something I have found, and I don't know if I would have said this in the past, because I may have even disagreed with it, but it's something I believe for sure now, is that it's tougher when it's seasoned, white oak is, to split. It's tougher to split. Once it's, or when it's green, it's much easier. Or even, semi-season, which I guess I don't know if there's a semi-season, but somewhat dried out, it's still pretty easy. But once it gets, dries out quite a bit, the wood gets a lot tougher. But as you can see here, there's access to the whole pile. It's so much better now because you don't got to climb up on this pile and, trying to pick through rounds here and there. Now the whole pile is open, and they're refilling it every day. Someone the other day told me that they got rid of their third shift there at that Stave Mill. So I guess they're slowing down or something. And as I've said before, they make whiskey barrels all out of all white oak. Lots of people think this is cedar, and I can see where they're coming from because it kind of does look like cedar where it's been debarked. But it's definitely white oak. That's all they use. And I was talking to Steve, and I think he said his friend was telling him, his friend works at a Jim Beam place, which is whiskey, and he was saying that I think they had slowed down there as well. So I guess people just aren't buying whiskey so much right now, which isn't a bad thing. Now, the Adler axe that I have, I've got something in mind that I'm actually wanting to do. So I'm ordering one of Buck and Billy Ray's handle. It's 34 inch. I know he had some different ones before, but for me personally, I like a longer handle. So 36 is really what I prefer. But 34, I don't know if I've ever used a 34, to be honest with you. I believe I'd like it as well. I don't know that I'd like it as much as a 34. But his particular handle looks like a really good quality handle, and the design of it looks really good. So I'm planning to order one of those and have the Adler with it. Stave Mill got a big load back there. It's all split and ready to go. So didn't take too long. And now, I don't know if I'm taking it on him right now or not, because I wasn't scheduled to until later on. Today's Valentine's Day, so I want to do something. I'm heading on now. We're going to stop at the gas station, and then I'll probably contact the customer and ask him if it's okay to bring this early, because I think I'm like 3 hours early. But if not, it's no big deal, because I got another one to do later too. So, and then there's another guy that's wanting 2 big loads from me. So, and he's right down the road, so that'll be $340 because I'm giving him a discount. Same guy I gave a discount a while back, and I showed some videos of deliveries there. Now, this guy that I'm about to deliver to here, I have delivered to him, I think, for the last 4 years or so, maybe longer than that even, but for the past year I didn't. So this is the first year in, not last year, but the year before, I think I delivered to him. So it's good to get to see him again. He's always been a really good guy to work with, him and his wife both, and I've done a lot of work for him as well. They kind of have like a little homestead. They live in a beautiful location there in Bath County. Or actually, I think it's Flemingsburg. It's on past Bath County. I wanted to show that post. That's locust, I believe. Black locust, if I'm not mistaken. And those are very rot resistant. You see a lot of those in Kentucky used as fence posts. We got that one delivered. I've delivered to him. He's a very friendly guy. I've done quite a bit of work for him. You may recognize that place there. If hopefully he don't mind me. I just kind of recorded his chickens. Hopefully he don't mind that, because if so, then I will take it off. And I can do that, because you can even after you've uploaded the videos, there's ways to edit them. I've done that before. But anyways, we're heading to the Stave Mill now. When I was on my way here, Ronald, I was on the phone with Ronald. We were talking, and he was heading on his way to the Stave Mill right then and there. He said he delivered 2 or 3 big loads yesterday. He's always talking about how he outworks me and outdoes me. Yeah. Ronald. We may make a video of it one day and see him outwork me. Yeah. Or see him say he outworks me anyway. But anyways, we're heading that way now. He is a worker. I'll give him that. Ronald's a worker. I think he's 53 years old, and he gets out there and hand splits this wood. And he does numerous loads of it a day. So he is a worker, no doubt about it. A hard worker. But anyways, we're heading out there now. He'll probably be there when we get there. If he is, I'll probably record him a little bit. Ronald reminds me of Popeye the Sailor Man. You've probably seen Popeye the Sailor Man too. Ronald reminds me of. But he reminded me of me in his looks and how he acts and everything in a way. Maybe not so much how he acts, maybe more his looks. But we're heading out there now, and this one's just a truckload that I'm going after now, and it's in Menifee County, which is past my home, and it's not due until later today. I think right now it's around 12 o'clock lunchtime. and this one isn't due until 5. It's just a truckload, so I'm going to a Stave Mill. I'm splitting it there. And now they don't like you to split at the Stave Mill, so don't just do what you see me doing. They don't have any signs up now, but I know that they don't want you splitting there because one of the guys even told me that they don't like you splitting there. But he said, but if I don't, well, I'm gonna say what he said because I don't want to get him in trouble. But he made it clear that they prefer you not to split there. So I'm doing it at my own risk, and I will continue doing it, Lord willing. Alright, so I ran into Ronald this time at the Stave Mill, and he got a pretty good load of wood. As you can see there, though, he isn't splitting it at all, which is probably a smarter thing, really, in ways. Not on your body, but I mean as far as going by what you know they want you to go by. So, like I said, I'm doing that at my own risk, and I know that some of them even watch my videos, so... But anyways, so this is working on my second load here. This is just a regular truckload. And as you can see, it's easy to access this stuff. You can see Ronald way over there and then me right here in the foreground. And how that he's got access to all kinds of stuff over there. And then I've got access to plenty there where I'm at. And he was kind of talking to me. He's always picking at me, telling me how that he's a 53-year-old man. He outworks a 33-year-old boy, he says, or something like that, which I just turned 33. He just turned 53 himself, I think. I like Ronald a lot, really. And the thing is, it's odd the way that things work out sometimes. This year, I needed help, because my wheel bearing went out, and he just so happened to be at my neighbor's, and me and Ronald had hardly ever talked before this. I'd seen him at my neighbor's for years. We've lived here for now right at 4 years, and I've seen him over there a lot, but we never did talk a whole lot before. And then he seen me outside splitting one day and came up and started talking to me. And after that, we kind of just started talking, and I was pretty close with his brother, Bill, and his brother died about 2 years ago. His brother was a really good mechanic. Ronald, as far as I know, is a pretty good mechanic too, and he's a good hard worker too. Kind of like me, a po' boy from Kentucky, Don't have a lot, but he's seems to be to me a pretty good-hearted guy, somebody that doesn't care to help you. Like even people at that Stave Mill, I've seen numerous people just go up and offer him help. Ronald go up and offer those people help. And it's a good trait to see in somebody. It's a very good quality to have. Somebody that's actually a cheerful giver. As the Bible said, God loves a cheerful giver. and you're giving of your time, and of your effort, when you do things like that. So I like to see that in other people, and Ronald is one of those kind of people. But he's a hard worker too. He really is. I mean, I've worked with lots of people when I did lawn care and landscape, and I had guys that would work with me a lot of times. I never really, except for one guy I had one younger guy who was a pretty good worker. But other than that, a lot of the guys that I worked with, I felt like I was paying them too much for the work that I was getting out of them, or either they just were very unreliable. They would make excuses for why they couldn't come to work, and they needed this day off for this and needed this day off for that. And then when they were working, they would talk about how tired they were getting and hardly through the day at all, And it's not very hard work, lawn care and landscaping, honestly. Weed eating, I used to do it all day for a commercial company. And that's when it's a little harder, when you're doing mile after mile after mile. And even then, it's not real hard work. It's just you're out in the heat, and you're walking a lot, swinging your weed eater some when you need to and the taller stuff. But anyways, so I always had trouble finding good workers, really, people that were very good workers. But Ronald is one of those that he's a good worker, and now I've done a job. I've worked with him with jobs that he's done before, like junk removal job, and then he's worked with me quite a bit in firewood. So we've kind of gotten a little closer this year, and he calls me every day, probably 5 or 6 times a day at least, I'd say. A lot of the times it's 5 or 6 times a day. And he's helped me out, and I'll help him out in return, with whatever we need. And I think that's how it should be. Try to help one another out and stuff. But it's been a very interesting year this year in firewood. It's been different, and you all have seen that if you watched me for a while. The Stave Mill, as I was saying earlier, I kind of got off track. It was odd the way that happened, because I needed help with a wheel bearing, and I had wood to sell, and Ronald needed to sell wood. And so I ended up talking to him, and we got together, and we delivered to my customers with his truck, and we split the profit. And from there, since then, I've sent people to him sometimes whenever, say, I can't keep up with them or something. And Curtis has sent me a bunch of people. Curtis, the man that I met at Stave Mill, he sent me probably 7 or 8 people, maybe more than that even. And some of them I've delivered to more than once this year. So I truly appreciate that, Curtis, if you're listening. Got another load today, so that's another $100 right there. $300 a day. It's around 2 o'clock p.m., right around it. And this one isn't due until 5. I think maybe he won't be home until 5. It's Valentine's Day, so I'm going to go get us all something to eat, and then we're going to go home. And I got my wife some flowers. I'll show you them, what they look like. Some people probably ain't interested, but anyways, I'll show you what those look like, and then we're going to head on home and relax and eat. And then around 5 o'clock, we'll take, around 4:30 or so. He's not too far from me. He's a new customer. Around 4:30 or so, we'll head out to bring this load to him. And that's a $300 day, not a hard day. We've been going since pretty early this morning, though. We got up around 5:30. I did. Took the trash to the end of the driveway for the trash truck. Then got ready, drunk a couple cups of coffee, and then we headed out. And we've been pretty much going ever since. So we've been going, when I say going, I mean delivering, splitting, loading, everything for about 6 hours. Just say 7.5 hours, $300. That's not too bad. Of course, you got expenses. You've got fuel and everything. But where I'm at the Stave Mill, I don't have bar oil, and 2-cycle oil and gas for that and everything. It's more just drive time, driving expenses, which is fuel, and then really that's it. That's your main expenses, just fuel, really, doing it this way. And any way you do firewood, if you're delivering, you're going to have that expense. My partner's heading on to the next one now. I got wood all over the place here. Got to get this cleaned up for the spring before too long. I got the Stave Mill earlier. He was having a big conversation with me, and then out of nowhere he looked over and said, "Oh, you recording? Are you recording?" And he changed his tone completely. I said, "Yeah, I'm recording." I said, "I got a YouTube channel." I said, "But I'll cut a lot of this out I said, you know, I have long videos. I end up trying to make them 20, 30 minutes long. Sometimes they're longer. Anyway, we're heading there now, and I'll update once I get there. I'll try to maybe record the process of stacking it or throwing it out, whatever we do there. He talked like he might not would be there, but his wife would. So we'll see how that she wants me to stack it and everything when I get there. But anyways, I'll update once I get there. All right, so that was probably the first time I've ever had that happen, selling firewood, ever, this scenario. I'm bringing my wood home with me is what I'm doing. So I'm leaving this guy's driveway. Thank goodness he wasn't far. He was literally 10 minutes, something like that, 13 minutes. He was very close. But anyways, I'm leaving his, I just left his place there, but that's kind of, I'll even explain it. So I was talking with Ronald about this the other day, and I told him, you know, and I'll talk with you all about it as well. I'll negotiate things to a certain extent, but there's been some things that are a little unreasonable. And now this man, what he was wanting me to do there, because I do stack wood. I'm fine with stacking if it's reasonable. But he was wanting me to get this whole load, walk a little ways, up steps, across his porch, and then stack it on his porch. And I told him, I said, sir, I'm not doing that. I can put it right there for you. I said, but I'm not going to do all that. And he said, and then he started kind of talking about my price and stuff. He said, well, that ain't much wood in there. That's for $100. That ain't really asking much. I said, and then at that point, it kind of aggravated me. I said, all right, I'll take it back with me. Thanks. I got my truck and left. So not trying to be mean, but I ain't playing those games with people. If I'm bringing you firewood, don't try to tell me about my price when you done agreed with me, you know, coming there. And as far as stacking it goes, yeah, I'll stack it, but if it's reasonable. Like I had a woman one time sitting trying to get me to go down steps with a wheelbarrow, and it was a big load. This is just a truckload. It was a big load. She was trying to get me to get a wheelbarrow, go down steps, a lot of steps, across her backyard, across her back porch, and I told her no. So you got to put your foot down sometimes. I had no trouble selling firewood. Some people sometimes will sit and talk to you as if you do. I've had them talk to me many times and say, well, yeah, I'll give you this price for it, and I'm just right here. I'm right down the road from you, and I'll do this and I'll do that. And I say, sir, look, I'm not trying to be mean. I have no trouble selling firewood. I have no trouble selling it. Yeah, there's been times where it's been slower and stuff, but I stay pretty steady with firewood. So you take it or leave it, you know. Not trying to be mean, but it really got on my nerves when he said that too. After I told him at first, I said, sir, I'm not doing that. I said, I'll stack it out here for you, you know, and you can bring it up there later if you want. And he said, well, that's going to get wet there and all this. And he said, I do it all the time. I carry it up them steps all the time. And I said, yeah, okay, that you do. Yeah, it's your wood and your home, you know. Yeah, you can do what you want with it. But I've already used my gas to go out and get this. And now, listen, I'm not trying to complain. I'm just explaining to you how I do with my business. And I'm pretty stern on it sometimes. I know what I put into this. I know how hard this work is. I know what kind of wood I have. I know how much I drive. I know how much wear and tear it is on your body and your equipment. So I know what it's worth to me, anyways. And he said, yeah, I do it all the time, you know. And I said, well, you can. I said, I'm not doing that. And then what really kind of got on my nerves there, honestly, was when he started talking about my price. He said, well, he said, you're asking $100 for that. That ain't even very much wood on that truck. And I said, all right, after he said that, I said, all right, I'll take it home with me then. And that's what I did. You know, I'm not trying to argue with somebody. I wasn't trying to argue with him. I made it very clear, you know. Some people don't know how to take no for an answer. I made it very clear to him, no, I'm not doing that, no. And it's like he just wanted to keep going with it. So I got the wood in the truck with me. I don't know if you can tell back there. I've got the wood in the truck, and it will go home with me, and I'll probably sell it tomorrow because I had more than one person messaging earlier, so it's no big deal to me. I'm not going to beg somebody to accept the wood that I sell or the way that I do it or anything, you know. I put my service online. I write the details in it, and I do write that I'll stack. And if it's reasonable, maybe I need to change that. Maybe I need to change the wording. But you would think that some people wouldn't even ask you to do things like that, but some will. Some don't care to. I'm a little aggravated right now, so forgive me. But yeah, that got me a little aggravated. And like I said, it's not that big of a deal because it's right down the road, but it's just the way that man carried himself. I guess it got on my nerves a little bit. And then especially when he started with the price, like I said. Anyways, that's how I do my business. You all do yours how you want, but I know what it's worth. And when people try to talk me down, sometimes that kind of gets on my nerves. And I know how to barter pretty well. I've sold a lot of things. I've bought a lot of things, used things, and sold a lot of used things, and some new things, but mainly used stuff. I bought plenty of used stuff and sold a lot of used stuff. And I know how to barter. And when people try to talk me down stuff, I know how to. A guy here a while back, I'll tell you this. Some of y'all may not agree with this. This man had told me that he wanted, I think, 3 loads of wood from me, big loads, $600. Told me he wanted these 3 big loads. Said he had to clear out a spot for it and everything, and he was going to get back to me. The man never did get back to me, so I reached back out to him longer than the time he gave me, if I'm not mistaken, and asked him about it. Then he gave me another answer. Something to the nature of, hey, I still got to get it cleared out. I'll get back to you and I'll let you know something. I think I'm going to get it. I'll let you know something. Never did hear from him until about a month later. And I'd sold a lot, up to this point. And about a month later, he messaged me back again and asking for wood out of nowhere. And I recognized his profile and his name. And I told him, I said, yeah, I'm pretty sure you messaged me before for wood. And he said, yeah, I did. I said, yeah, you told me that you were going to get wood from me and you never did, and told me you was going to let me know something and you never did. And he kind of went on and said, yeah, I never did get my rack done and all this. And I said, yeah, you weren't honest with me. I said, I won't be selling you anything, sir. I said, take care. Some of y'all may not agree with that. I don't like to do business with people. And now I'll say this, I'll tell you out my own mouth. There's many times when I'll schedule wood and things and I'll have to reschedule it. And I'll tell people, yeah, that's why I try to say I'll plan to. I'll plan to be here at this time or this day. And then there's been many times, plenty, to where I get behind and I'll say, hey, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to make it. Can I reschedule it for later this evening or for in the morning? And people are usually always reasonable with that. And honestly, I've got so busy at times before to where I've failed in that too. And it's not a good thing to deal with when you're dealing with somebody that's telling you they'll be there at this time or anything. Dishonesty is what it is. So that's why I try to say I'll plan to. But yeah, like that man customer, I don't like to deal with those kind of customers. I've got a lot of really good customers. I do. A lot of really good customers. Ronald was talking about that with me. He said he goes around here trying to sell wood. And he said, yeah, I'll go and he'll have a big load of wood too. Full-size pickup truck. And they'll try to offer him like $40 for it. And I said, Ronald, I wouldn't deal with people like that if I was you. And he said, yeah, I know a lot of them that I've worked, because Ronald, if you watch some of my videos, he went with me and did a lot of deliveries with me. And he said, yeah, I've seen a lot of yours. He said, they'll give you 50 extra bucks sometimes, 20 extra bucks, 10 extra bucks without you even asking them. And I said, yeah, I deal with good customers, And not every one of them does that, but it's different than them not doing that and then trying to talk you down and saying, that's not a very good load of wood and all this stuff. It's a full-size pickup load of wood, is what it is. It comes out to over a face cord of wood. So I'm not false advertising or anything, The man just didn't like the answer when I told him no, I wasn't going to do that. So, but anyway, there's enough ranting there. I guess I would call that a rant, maybe, kind of. I'm not trying to be too negative, but I'm a little aggravated over that one. But I figured I'd talk about it. I didn't have to mention it at all, but I wanted to kind of talk about it because I think you should get what you feel you're worth, Don't let people talk you down too much, I'm all for helping people and stuff like that, but at the same time, we've got to make a living, too. We've got to make a living. But anyways, I'm heading on home with this one. So it ended up being a $200. I split $300 worth of wood. I have it ready to sell. Thought I had it sold. So it's a $200 day, which I'm fine with that. Completely fine with that. And then tomorrow, I've got this one loaded and ready to go. So I'll probably go ahead and reach out to a person I was talking to earlier in message and let them know. Maybe I'll work out a time with them for tomorrow. But anyways, I'm heading on home. This is going to be a long video, so I'm going to go on and end it here. We've got a lot of footage to put in this one. But you all be safe and God bless. There was another thing too. He had a dog that came up to me barking, acting like he was going to bite or acting aggressive. And I asked him, I said, does your dog bite? And he said, that alone right there. If your dog bites, keep it away from me. I'm not trying to be mean, but keep your dog away from me. If it bites, don't break it out here. and it came up barking and growling, and I said, "Sir, I'm not going to let your dog bite me." And I don't know. Maybe I should just hush. Yeah, that's enough. I'm kind of aggravated at the end of this one. I don't want to rub all that aggravation off, this negativity off, spread that. So I'm thankful. I'm happy. It's a good day. But that whole situation right there was kind of a frustrating one. You'll have those every now and then. The good thing about it is when you're your own business owner, you don't have to deal with them. That's the only time I think I've ever went to do a delivery and left with the wood. I think that's the first time I've ever done that. And I've been doing it for 6 years now. So if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but I'm telling the truth right now, I don't recall ever doing that before.
I think I said one more time.
Who's that?
And remember that guy said that ain't hardwood.
Oh, yep, that's right. I did do one there was another one a long time ago, but I didn't choose to not sell it to him. A guy had ordered it for his dad online, and it was mixed wood back then. I had all kinds of different stuff mixed in. And when I got there to deliver it to his dad said he didn't want the wood. So that wasn't on me. That was his dad. I'd wasted a trip there and everything. And I think that was the only time I ever had that, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't sit and beg people to accept my, the firewood, take it or leave it. And that's why I told him, I said, "Sir," I could take it back with me, no big deal. And he kept on going. And then when he finally started talking about my price and all this, then I said, "Okay, I'll take it back. I'll take it back with me," and I went on.